Hi, I'm Camilla and I'm a watercolorist from Denmark. And I want to welcome you to this short video where I'm going to show you one of my favorite beginner techniques, and that is blooms, watercolor blooms like these. Or cauliflowers if you like, but I do like the term blooms, it's so beautiful. This is a technique that some people love and some people really hate, so I'm going to show you how to create them and how to avoid them if you are one of the latter. Then I'm going to show you how to get rid of them if you really don't want them. But hopefully I can show you that they are pretty cool and that you can love them as well. So I will see you in there. Okay, let's start by taking a look at how to actually create these blooms. Why do they happen and when? You might just be sitting around doing a beautiful wash and suddenly a bloom appears out of nowhere, seemingly. It's not completely out of nowhere. The reason you have blooms is because you are applying water or a wetter paint to a drying surface. So I just put down a pretty dry wash here and just dipping in some water droplets here, and you can see how it instantly created blooms. That's because this was a drying surface and that was a lot drier than the water that I put down. We'll take a look at it in a second. I'm just gonna do a comparison wash here. This is a lot wetter. The first one was super dry, not completely dry, but dry enough that it was shiny but didn't have any puddles of paint or water. You can see how I apply a lot more water this time. And it's mingling and spreading around nicely. Now I'm just gonna add drops of water here as well. And you can see the effect is not as dramatic already, but we are going to compare it in a second. The first one is super dramatic and this one is fairly not dramatic. Let's take a look at it. Here you can see it dried up and it created this beautiful edge here where you have the water pushing in from the right and they're pushing away the paint that was drying. You have a little bit here, but the right one is a lot more apparent. And I think that was because they had more water in the brush in that one. Here you can see this one. It's actually almost invisible that we put down the paint or in the water. It's because it was very wet. Okay, how to avoid these blooms. A lot of especially fine artists, painters really hate these blooms, and if you're doing a very detailed work, you might not want this kind of unpredictability in your work. You want it to be a beautiful wash. So I'm just creating a bloom here, or a puddle of water here on the bottom. You can see that here, and I want to remove that. You can do this in any places of your paper, of course. I'm just tipping it so you can see it better, this puddle of water. It's very apparent. I am wetting my brush. Here you go, and I'm just dipping it here on the paper, so it's not dry, but it's thirsty. And I'm just gonna lift up this puddle of water. Don't rub, because then you'll just take some of the paint away as well, but just kind of soak it up. I just rubbed it here, and you can see how it soaked up some of the paint as well, so it became a little bit lighter. So you have to try this technique a couple of times. I'm just gonna smoothen this out a little bit. So it's not so apparent. Here you go, just with the tip of my brush. Now let's take a look at how to get rid of blooms. If we have these annoying lines, there's a couple of things we can do. The first one I really don't recommend, but I'm gonna show you anyway because sometimes this is necessary. We have this hard line, and the best way to get rid of it is with water and a synthetic brush. And this is hard on your brush. This is not a good quality brush you're gonna use for this. This is very, very tough. But I'm just gonna wet it, dry it, and rub it. Rub, rub, rub. You can see I'm just rubbing this and working to get rid of this annoying line. And this is a way to do it, but it will lift some of the paint and it'll probably look really annoying and weird. But if it's in a small area, you can do this. Here you go. I'm just going to show you real quick how the result became. Here you can see how it lifted the edge, but also some of the paint. So this is a technique you really want to be careful to use. Another way to go about these is to do another wash. And this will not remove it because, as you know, watercolors are transparent, but this will make it look a lot better and softer. So just applying a new wash and you can make the transition a lot softer. You can see that already here, and I much prefer this method to the other one. But blooms are not always bad. I want to show you a couple of examples here. Here I used blooms as a texture in the background. You can see how it created this beautiful splotch here, and that is just really, really cool. I love it. The next one is a landscape, and you can see I applied the water when it was super wet still, but it has this stunning ethereal effect. It's so beautiful and a great way to create clouds. So just think about when you're applying it, if it's very wet or if it's drying up. Yes. Also, we can use it in a loose floral painting like this. You can see how there's a bloom here on the left flower here, tulip, and I really like how you can use it for so many motifs. So I hope you will try out this technique and try to see if you can embrace it instead of hating it, and I will see you later.